People of the verse, hello, welcome to the channel. It's the Eradicator again, and in this video we will be talking about the ships of Star Citizen Alpha 3.15. The latest episode of Inside Star Citizen had a very interesting review because there was like an old school episode of Ship, which we haven't had for a very long time, and in that episode they indeed reviewed the ships that are coming up in the next patch, which are obviously the first one that we are seeing here. The Crusader Ares, which we are giving away, by the way. This month we got this amazing giveaway. Hello, Nuno Revelo, how are you doing today? We got an amazing giveaway this month. We are giving away on Discord a Crusader Ares Ion and an Origin 85X. That is, of course, if you have access to the Discord channel via Patreon or Join Button membership. But for you guys, the subscribers of the channel, all you have to do is to subscribe to the channel and make sure your settings are public and answer the giveaway-related question I'll be asking later. We also have a Crusader Mercury Star Runner, so amazing giveaway here. Thanks to Dr. Forbin, who is bringing all of that, and the 85X is from Max Power. So that Crusader Ares here, it's the cockpit that we're having a look at here right now, and so we're going to have the comments here, the live comment, not the live, but the comments from the man himself, John Crew, who's responsible, basically the main person responsible for the ships in Star Citizen, and it's going to be great to hear from him and see what he has to say.
So the next ship is the Aries Starfighter Inferno and Ion.
Yeah, he's going to explain what these are for those of you who don't know that. That's basically Crusader Industries' take on Starfighter, because right now the only thing that they've been making are transport ships like the Hercules, the Star Runner, and the Genesis Star Runner, which apparently Jared is very excited about and is perhaps coming next year, maybe. I guess we'll see, but they seem to have been hyping this a little bit more, right? Is the Ares not available to be purchased anymore on the Play Store? I don't think it is, Nuno Revalo. I don't think it is available. I think that they have taken it away, and they are going to bring it back when 3.15 will go live, Nuno, right? And so these ships are quite special because they're not really going to be your typical dogfighter, as John Cruz said. These are more anti-capital ships, and they are going to have a distinct function. The Ion is going to have this big size 7 laser guns, which I think has the advantage, as opposed to the ballistic guns, of not having projectiles that are depletable, but at the same time you are going to be taking down your enemies, which are the big capital ships, in a far longer period of time, whereas the Inferno is the one that's going to have the Gatling gun, and it's going to be more effective, but the drawback is that you are going to have to go back to the station to get resupplied. So different approaches.
Towards the
look Look at how massive that gun is. You know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of those TIE Bizarros from X-Wing Alliance, right? TIE Prototype X-Wing Alliance. It makes me think of those old TIE fighters, like those. I don't know if you guys remember them from the old X-Wing Alliance, and some of those TIE fighters. Of course, these are not of the TIE fighters that we can see here. It's always like that, right? But like this one, for example, like this is basically a TIE fighter with a big laser gun, right? TIE Experimental M1, or you got this TIE Interceptor here with just huge missiles on the side, right? Or there's another one here with just a big booster in the back. So that's what the Crusader Ares makes me think of. It's basically a ship with a huge mounted weapon that shouldn't be here, but it's definitely going to make up for some interesting gameplay, right? Exactly, it's just a ship built around a gun, Warhawk says. Definitely.
Grey box crossing into final art in places, so these are your 2 single player anti-capital heavy fighters.
That's what I say here. Heavy fighter, very important now, starting from Star Citizen 3.14, because each ship have their own classification. Light fighter are swift and maneuverable, but at the same time quite weak. You have interceptors, which are good at flying straight, but also quite weak. You have the medium fighters, which are jacks of all trades, and then the heavy fighters, which are heavy, tanky, but not maneuverable at all. So don't expect the Crusader Ares to be fantastic at dogfighting. It's not going to be the role. Imagine it more like a bomber role, but at the same time without any significant payload, just its big gun. Very unique and weird. Oh, Nuno here says he wants to have the Iron because it has 2 power plants and later should be possible to swap weapons. I don't think that they said that it will be possible to swap weapons, Nuno. Unless, because I think that they said that those weapons are going to be bespoke to the Crusader. I'm pretty sure that they said that a couple of times. I could be wrong, of course. Maybe they changed their mind. But the last time I checked, they did say that it wouldn't be possible.
The sort of unknowns that cropped up was where and how we access the components on the ship. These were blocked in at concept phase, but obviously things change during development. We learn a bit more about how to do things more optimally in the engine each ship we do. We've adjusted the animation template to get in a little. It was using another ship's entry and then just trying to frame the huge guns at the side of the cockpit.
Look at the size of that thing.
In view in a way that is nice, but without interfering with your view massively by having huge amounts of VFX and.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking when I have this problem when I'm flying with the Gladiator. The problem with the Gladiator is that the turrets are the turret guns are just on top of the cockpit of the Gladiator, especially if you are using guns like the Hurston Dynamics attritions, which are pretty long. When you are doing that, you are always blinded. When there's someone in the turret using the turret, you are blinded by the VFX of the guns, and that is what's going to happen when you'll be flying the Crusader Ares, because look at that, the gun is so, the position of the gun is so forward that it's going to be that it's going to be blinding when you're going to be flying, right? James says, dude, it's 2:30 a.m. It's not, it's 5:32 p.m. here. What are you talking about? Do these obsolete the Retaliator? No, Hydra, I think that it's not going to obsolete the Retaliator at all because it's completely different. The Retaliator is designed to be flown in battle for a long time. Even once your payload is depleted, it is still a formidable foe. You can still use it as a gunship in the battlefield, right? But this ship, especially, once the capital ships are out, what are you going to do with the Ares? Are you going to dogfight it? You're going to be outmaneuvered by all the smaller fighters. It's going to be a disaster at dogfighting. Maybe you'll get a few lucky shots, and that's what you are going to do, some damage, perhaps, but that's basically it. Don't expect to be dogfighting anything smaller than a heavy fighter. Maybe you'll be able to fight a Vanguard with that, perhaps, but anything smaller than a Vanguard is going to be a disaster and will be resulting in a loss for you. So that's why it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with. In a dogfight situation, whereas the Retaliator, if you have a fully crewed Retaliator, you can still stay in a dogfight and win the fight because of all of the turrets that it has, right? Hey, thank you, Busy. Well, I appreciate you being here, man.
Barrel obscuring half your view. In terms of the gold standard ships, the Gladius hit its gold standard, and we actually got the vast majority of that into 3.14 with only some minor bug fixes in 3.15.
Now, I read a question about gold standard. What is gold standard? Who asked about gold standard a little bit before? I forgot. But gold standard is basically when they are making sure that the ships are functional the way that they should be functional in the verse. That was you, Warhawk. Okay. They are making sure that the ships are working the way that they are supposed to be working. That is also including the components. In the future, players should be able to swap components manually, and so all of those components should be accessible by the players, and which is something that was not available for all of those ships, right? So they just wanted to make sure that the gold standard is to make sure that those ships and vehicles that are available in the game will be able to offer all the gameplay that is intended, including swapping in and out those components. So that's what it is, Warhawk.
The Saber comes online to its gold standard in 3.15.
The Saber, which needed some work and love. I don't know what you guys think, but every time I'm using a Saber, I am dying so quickly. I don't know why. Is it because I don't know how to use it? Is it because it's actually a glass cannon? It's just so weird, right? And just as I say that, Warhawk says he's glad he bought a Saber. I'll never buy a Saber.
Some of that new stuff we're working on, you might hear about on October 9th at Digital Citizen Con.
Okay, so I guess we'll see more of those ships with gold standard during CitizenCon. That is good to see. Nuno says he guesses that even a Hurricane with a crew of 2 will be able to take out any Inferno or Iron easily. Absolutely, Nuno. Absolutely. Especially, you'll be able to and those guns, those guns, size 7. Yeah, they're size 7, but they're fixed. So you'll be able to outmaneuver the airs very quickly. Plus, you have 6 weapons at your disposal when you are flying a Hurricane, if you have the man in the turret, right? So that is going to be depleting those shields very quickly for sure.
And finally reaching the ship that is furthest along in the pipeline, which is the Aegis Redeemer.
That's my baby! Yeah! Look at that, the Nutcracker. And it looks fantastic. It's almost ready. I'm pretty sure that this ship will be available in the PTU Evocadi as soon as 3.15 gets in Evocadi, which JJ was asking when will 3.15 be released. It is September 4th. I've heard through certain Discord channels that they are recruiting new Evocadis right now. So I think that they are updating their rosters or their roster of Evocadi members. I think that once they have that, they should be putting 3.15 in Evocadi. I think that we're going to have more updates on what is going to be committed for 3.15, and probably the first Evocadi patch for 3.15 will be about those items that will be committed. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Redeemer here becoming a committed ship for Star Citizen at 3.15, and it wouldn't be a surprise if they are going to be testing the ship right away when it gets to the A patch of the PTU phase. But and that's my baby. As I said, look at all those guns here. Crew of 4 is gonna say, and it's not really a dropship anymore. It's more of a gunship. Think of the Aegis competitor of the Constellation without the cargo. So it's probably going to trade the cargo space for more durability. That's what I would expect the Redeemer to be. But let's listen to John Crew right here.
Which is pretty much at the end of final art and into the release prep phase, which is what we call the final phase.
Look at that. That is crazy. So this is going to be the turret that will be at the disposal of the pilot. And behind is going to be a man turret, which just looks like the turrets that you would have in a Hammerhead. That turret behind, just under the pilot, is absolutely insane, and it is going to shred fighters into pieces.
This is taking the final asset and making it game release ready. So there's a lot of downstream tech and VFX audio UI support that goes on top of that pristine final art state. Silhouette wise, it still has those famous Nutcracker wings.
Fantastic. I gotta say, I don't think that when we had the next great starship, which was the contest when the Redeemer was, I didn't vote for them because I thought that it looked really weird. But there was a cinematic after that in 2015 featuring the Redeemer when they went to Rune Station in Paro, and here I changed my mind. I was like, no, this ship actually looks cool in flight, and it kind of grew on me. But it's definitely quite unique.
We hardened up some of the smooth edges, so there's a bit more angular folds in it. We changed the tail and sort of just stretched the body to balance the proportions because it was a bit one-sided in terms of weight distribution.
Yeah, it's true. It seems like all the weight was in the front and not necessarily in the back. So great call here from John Crew. That turret here on front also looks pretty sick as well. Parker says that he guessed the crew turret will have a hard time looking around that remote firing off from the front. Not so sure, Parker, because they can always look on the side. And they can always look at it. It's just going to be in the front, right? But if they go, if they rotate the turret, because you should expect the turret to be rotatable at a 365 degrees, right? So I think it should be fine.
Originally, it was a 3-person dropship gunship hybrid, and featured in Squadron 42 in sort of a very minor dropship role. But over time, the needs for that dropship in Squadron evolved, and it wasn't suitable for that anymore. So we
oh no! So the Redeemer is not going to be in Squadron 42. Well, let's see. We got some info here about Squadron 42 today. Thank you so much, on crew.
And the Vanguard Hoplite take its place, and then ultimately the Valkyrie.
Oh, so that's why they made the Valkyrie. So it was supposed to be the Vanguard Hoplite and then the Valkyrie. So there we have it. We're going to be using the Valkyrie in Squadron 42 as a dropship and not the Redeemer, because it's not a Redeemer. It's not a Redeemer. Yeah, it's still a Redeemer. It's not a dropship anymore, right? So it's going to be a gunship. The idea of the gunship is just to have this ship flying around the battlefield and shooting as many things as possible. Basically like the Retaliator without its payload.
Of the weapons at the time versus the ships that were there, and they all got upgraded, upsized, moved around. So now it is a 4-person gunship.
That's the interior. The interior is pretty different from what I remember. I remember the original Redeemer, because it was possible to actually walk around the original Redeemer back in the old days when we only had the hangar and then Arena Commander module, right? The original Redeemer was already there, and then they removed it because they decided to completely redo it, and it looks far more spacious than I can remember. But that's maybe because they did indeed decide to stretch the ship quite a bit, and that's the result that we are looking at here from the inside. Warhawk says impressive ship, indeed, very impressive, which is why I am the proud owner of a Redeemer, and you can be sure that as soon as it hits the PTU, I will be testing it for you guys in the channel. Very nice.
Being a 4-person gunship required some quite beefy components, so trying to fit all these things on this chassis, keeping its sort of quite iconic look, fitting it all inside was by far the biggest
where are the
challenge
crew
of the
quarters?
production.
Because I haven't seen the crew quarters. Here are some jump seats. I guess we'll still be able to use it as a dropship because we still have those seats here. But where are the crew quarters? I didn't see any beds, so it's not gonna have any beds. That's weird, right? Do you think we'll be able to name the Redeemer? I have no idea, Thomas. I wish, of course. I mean, on the long term, the plan is to have all the ships nameable, right? But I think that right now the only ships that are nameable are for testing purposes. But we'll see. Maybe one day they start to expand.
We think we've been quite faithful to that original design, both visually and gameplay-wise, and we look forward to people playing it later in the year.
We'll definitely be playing it, guys, on this channel for sure. Oh, the beds are on the bottom, Parker. You think, yeah, would you explain why this particular area didn't look so cramped? Maybe it's they have another deck where it's going to be more cramped than where the beds are going to be. Okay, Parker, I get it here. I get it. Anyway, that's it here for the ships of Star Citizen Alpha 3.15. Very excited about that big baby here, the Redeemer, which does indeed look like there could be some space here at a lower deck for the crew quarter. I think you're right, Parker. Whereas the top here would be for the military purposes. Yeah, good catch here, Parker. Good catch. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow for more content on the channel. Have a great day. This is the Eradicator. Oh, I forgot the giveaway question, guys. I forgot. So, what is the ship that you're the most looking forward to in 3.15? You guys know that I'm looking forward to the Redeemer, but maybe you guys really like the Aries. Let me know in the comment section down below. I'll see you guys tomorrow for more content on the channel. This is the Eradicator. See you guys later. And a shout out to Dr. Forbin, Tella, and Eric Ohm for their generous contributions on Patreon. Thank you very much. This video is brought to you by the people who support this channel on Patreon and via the join button as well. Supporters of the channel get access to lots of cool perks such as access to my private Discord, your question answered in the show, you get to know when I'm going to play, and also you get to have a chance to influence the editorial line of the channel. Any help is appreciated, starts at just $1 a month. Thank you very much for watching. This is the Eradicator, and I'll see you guys later.